Conan O'Brien and the team behind the Oscars seem to have tried their best to get away from politics. And yet, we see that ratings have crashed for 2025. So what's behind the dive? And what will Hollywood learn from all of it? Today, we'll break it down for you and tell you why the awards season is broken completely and what they might do if the Hollyweirds ever want to return to an audience near you. Hello, folks, and welcome back. It is a dandy of a day, and we're happy that you come our way. Welcome aboard. Our job here is to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and we love doing it. And we've got plenty more years in the can, folks. If you'd like to be part of the movement, well, consider clicking the like button, and who knows, maybe even become a subscriber today. As we get underway, folks, we only ask that you give us your attention. Sit back, relax, and we'll explain what's going on in the halls of Hollyweird right now. All right, folks, it's time to get started, though, on the ratings crash that is the Oscars, and we're going to explain what happened here, because guess what? They tried to do it the right way, sort of, right? All right, let's take a look at it. We'll tell you what's going on. This is out of Hollywood in Toto by Christian Toto, and big fans of him. Had him on the panel several times. Would love to do it again. 7 lessons from Sunday's insanely long Oscars ceremony. A Nora sweeps, but Hollywood can't deliver compelling show again. All right, here's what we've learned, folks. We're going to go rather quickly on this. America doesn't care about Hollywood's politics. We officially shared the hard truth on November 5th. Nobody cares about what Hollywood has to say. That's likely why Oscar producers did all they could to remove politics from the telecast. Host Conan O'Brien's opening monologue lacked a single Trump jab. He capped the gags by embracing film as a path to unify a nation. Blockbusters need not apply. And really, folks, if you want to know why ratings crashed for the Oscars, this is probably it. The idea that they picked the artsy-fartsy stuff that seemed to promote values none of you agree with, well, that's why the Oscars is down in the doldrums today, and they may not have the funds to play any more with the Oscars and other award shows. They're going to have to go fund themselves. The resistance won't be silenced. O'Brien broke his apolitical me and late in the show. The host lauded Nora for its awards moment, explaining it with a cracked aim at President Donald Trump. Although I will say, folks, in regards to this one, it was very minute. It was very muted in how he did it. I know some of you out there really disliked the joke from Conan, but the way that I approach it is, how does it compare to Jimmy Kimmel last year and how Kimmel would have approached the Oscars? And then I go, oh, I see. They threw in the required singular joke without even saying Orange Man Bad's name. Hollywood is in trouble. Nora writer, director, editor Sean Baker got plenty of podium time Sunday, so he spent some of it begging audiences to come back to their local theater. Not going to happen. And then Christian goes on to say, we still love movies, right? And that's because we remember the movies we loved. They didn't get the memoriam right. It was not an efficient show whatsoever. And of course, one thing, Christian, I would add here is, darn it, Disney still doesn't have their streaming right because Hulu messed up again. Now, how bad is it for the Oscars and for their ratings? Well, take a look at this, folks. It's out of the Hollywood Reporter. TV ratings, Oscars draw 18 million viewers, down from 2024. Significantly down, by the way. I think it's something like 7% down. And 2024 was also down. So they tried to do what they had to do to get audiences to return. They got away from politics. The problem is they also got away from making movies that people enjoy. And then they got away from awarding movies that anyone's seen. Nobody wants to see the obscene Nora and then praise it because it is positive about blank workers. Nobody wants to do that. And if you think for a moment that Hollywood is being silent about Orange Man Bad out of their inner virtue, that they've turned a leaf, that they've seen the light, think again. Out of Newsmax, Rasmussen poll, people under 40 are big on Trump. How big? Rasmussen, which is the most accurate pollster for the 2024 election, is now saying that 60% of people under 40 years old in America are supportive of President Donald J. Trump. Why do you think the Oscars got away from politics? Well, because 60% of the demo now approves what they've been telling you should never, would never, could never be. Now, we're not here to be political. I'm simply here to say If you need an explanation for why the Oscars decided to be mostly apolitical, that's why. If you wonder why Selena Gomez suddenly dried her eyes, that's why. If you wonder why you are only seeing celebrities be crazy on Blue Sky, this is why. 60% of the demo is all in with Orange Man Bad. You can agree, you can disagree, but it doesn't change the reality that is the polling from the most accurate pollster out there. The ratings, however, did not recover. And the ratings for the Oscars did not recover simply because movies haven't recovered. Movies haven't recovered because we're still dealing with the stuff that was made based on the Summer of Love, based on the idea that there was going to be a new political landscape. And it's tragic, but I don't see an end to bad movies for the next year or two. And as long as that happens, and as long as there's nothing to celebrate from normal audiences, Hollywood can go sniff their own flatulence all they want, but it'll be just them in a dark room on a Sunday night claiming that everything's all right while little golden mans are passed out to people who have made audiences pass out already. All right, panel, your thoughts on the Oscars dropping ratings and dropping politics. I think they're going to try to now claim that we need more politics. Look, the ratings dropped even further. But the reality is something else.
Did Selena drop her $1 million necklace to help the people that she was crying over, or is that not a thing now?
No, Ron, and luckily, but it was $1 million necklace. No, she didn't drop that, and neither did Mark Hamill drop his pants this time. So two
good
wins.
for him. Good for him. Yeah, it's my wife was watching the Oscars. I wasn't watching. I just have no interest in. It's just Hollywood kissing Hollywood's butt. I don't care. Like, I really, really, really don't care what these. There was. I wish I knew who said it. I saw an excerpt of a short video. It was like being filmed on somebody's cell phone camera or whatever. But there was an actor, and he, God, what did he say? He said, look. He actually was correct about the take. He was like, look, I'm an actor. I'm giving lines. I read it. We're the court jesters. What the heck are we doing in politics? None of us should be in politics. And I can't remember who said it. But I was really, really happy to hear that from a Hollywood actor. I think more and more of them, though, kind of are getting that message that, like, look, just do your job. You are the court jesters. You are the people who provide entertainment. That you're not important in society other than for the value that you bring to make people happy, to entertain people, to give people an escape from the day-to-day drudgery of life. And other than that, it just, like, I don't think we care about the Oscars anymore. Hollywood isn't the big deal that Hollywood used to be. And it's going to take a serious turn even further downward with the use of AI in the creation of a lot of this entertainment as we go forward. So I don't see this getting any better for the Oscars going forward, with or without their political views. But of course, we certainly don't need what's his name? Robert De Niro coming out and saying what he said about President Trump that one time. That was awful. But even getting away from that, I just don't see the interest peaking in Hollywood anymore. Produce good material that we know, like Anora, I think is the name of the film that didn't that win Best Film? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, I believe so.
Anora. Okay. I literally heard of it the morning after the Oscars. Okay. That, to me, should not be happening. Somebody that I like work in pop culture and I never even heard of this film. That shouldn't be happening. We should at least know what the heck we're looking at, and we don't anymore because we don't care. All we want is good entertainment. All I want is Mission Impossible, the next movie that comes out by Tom Cruise, to be really, really good, so I can go turn my brain off for 2 hours, watch a movie, enjoy myself, enjoy some popcorn, enjoy my family, and have a good time. And that's it. That's it.
I think this problem is twofold for movies right now. Movies themselves, the popular movies, are moving towards more commercialized, sanitized stuff. So, like, the idea of a movie like RoboCop coming out, a Verhoeven movie coming out and being popular and being something that they reference on the Oscars, not as likely as it was in the past. So like you've got your Iron Mans, you've got your Avengers Secret Wars, you've got your Disney live action remakes. Disney live action remakes are never going to be Oscar material. Maybe for best costume if they bring back some of the people who did some of the work here or there. And then you have the Oscars going off on and doing their own thing where they're focusing on these small budget or supposedly small budget films here that are not the things that people are showing up to the theaters for. And all the mid-level stuff is now on streaming services. And those are not coming up at the Oscars. So the things that people are actually watching on a frequent basis are almost completely disqualified from being there at the Oscars. So the Oscars are trying to have relevance by catering to art or catering to the bottom of the barrel as far as commercialization. So they're reluctantly, giving an olive branch to these things that kept the movie industry alive when they rather would focus on, I think the Oscar template for this year, the number of nominations that were specifically like hard nudity in most of those films is pretty high this year, and that eliminates a lot of the audience. I know the people here who are interested in this show may have a different view on what a regular viewer is, but general audiences can be a little off-put by excessive nudity in a film. This is the kind of thing where it's just a movie that focuses on the story of a stripper. That's not the kind of thing that you would expect to make Best Picture in a regular year.
Well, it's also not Pretty Woman, right? It's not handled in a subtle way. Like it's totally explicit. It's like this. It's the kind of stuff someone might have found if they were flipping the channels at 3 a.m. through HBO or Cinemax back in the day.
Yeah, when you Gone with the Wind got Best Picture. I mean, The Godfather got Best Picture. That is a movie that it's got some rough parts in it, but most people recognize The Godfather, and it was a popular film, popular enough that they had The Godfather Part 2, the first sequel, to win an Oscar. It used to be that it was a metric of people outside of Hollywood and what they thought of this film, and then recognized by Hollywood. Whereas now it just seems like they're just there praising themselves, and nobody really cares. Like, okay, there would be movies like LA Confidential, which good movie, that would have a big sweep, or that would get nominated for everything at the Oscars because Hollywood has an affinity for Hollywood. But at least it was a good film that a lot of people had heard of with stars in them. I have neither heard of and will not watch Honora. I actually thought that she was a side character in The Substance, a movie that I also have not seen, despite hearing that it's good, even though I'm probably not going to watch it. They are so far removed from entertainment, and Hollywood itself is like, well, we'll leave the entertainment to the superhero films. Let's just pause to think about how ridiculous that is. No wonder no one's watching.
Absolutely. Erica, the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, people often tune in just to see the dresses and that sort of thing, but maybe they've messed up to the point that people don't even care about that anymore.
No, I think with the fires in California, there was a lot of controversy towards stars, and I think that kind of didn't help. And on top of just years and years of people plugging out little by little, and we are where we are. I mean, like you guys said, and I've been saying this for a while, there's a lot of not shows, but movies that I've never heard of that are getting nominated, and it's just not relevant to the audience and what is being advertised to get us to go to the theaters and watch on the screen. So it's lost its luster from just one extreme to the other.
The stars just don't shine like they used to out of Hollywood, and it may have been going political for so long. They're going to try to claim, folks, I'm telling you, I know them better than they know themselves. They're going to try to claim that the reason the ratings suffered is because they didn't have a Kimmel, because Conan didn't go political. But the reality is not going political helped them, actually. It's the fact that they don't have movies that help them. It's the fact that they blocked apparently conservative films. Can you imagine let me throw this at you, panel. Can you imagine for a moment what the viewership would have been like if Am I a Racist by Matt Walsh had been in the contention to get the award for Best Documentary? It wasn't allowed to. It wasn't allowed to even be a nominee. But if it had just been nominated, can you imagine the viewership as people tuned in to see, will it? Could it? Will Matt Walsh actually be in attendance? How will celebrities look at it? Like, they could play this up, but they don't, because while they've decided they'll step away from politics for the time being, they're not so brazen as to let in the rest of the political aisle. They're not allowed in. Panel, does that make some sense in what I'm trying to convey?
Oh, that's completely fair. It makes sense, and it would make for, when there's that kind of dynamic, that kind of tension, it certainly makes for a better show. It certainly makes for like audience interest. Oh my gosh. And I mean, you're talking about people from the far left that would be tuning in even more if they knew that there'd be some, what do you call it, quote unquote hate watching or whatever, but that really doesn't matter. If you're getting eyeballs on the screen and you're getting the Nielsen ratings up without doing what Oprah did, which was really bad, then it's a good thing for the show. But overall, I mean, like, and by the way, is it Nielsen? Do we also have streaming numbers for this that go out live streaming? I don't nearly know.
No, these are preliminary numbers that the Hollywood Reporter is giving us, but we do not yet have Nielsen. We do not yet have streaming numbers for Hulu, and who knows when we'll get those. Disney may, and can you trust them when they come out? We'll see.
I don't know. We just had on ours on a digital antenna, so.
Right. I'm just going to point this out one more time. If I haven't made this clear, the Super Bowl is something that, even though it gets dirty at parts, and it should not get dirty at parts, it's supposed to be something that the whole family and old people are capable of watching together. The Oscars is so far up its own butt with whatever Hollywood is interested in, it's going to be filthy. So you wouldn't let a child watch the Oscars. So they've killed the audience for the Oscars. This is not something where every generation gathers around the TV to see, oh, maybe my favorite movie. Well, look at the glitz and glamour. They had naked people walking the red carpet this time. I joked about it. About it, but I really do think they should start a rumor that the public exposure laws in California are going to be enforced on the red carpet next year. Just scare them a little bit. I'm not saying actually censor them. I'm not saying actually throw people in jail. It's a 6-month sentence, by the way. But I think that they need to realize just how out of touch they are. You would never let a child watch the Oscars on the idea that a clip from one of these movies was going to be played on national television, and you're going to have to explain a lot more. You don't want to be awakening something in a 9-year-old boy because he watched the Oscars.
Well, let me show you this, Jonas. This is, to your point, people need to understand the difference. It's easy to think, based on what celebrities say, that the Oscars, Hollywood's biggest night, is anywhere approximating the Super Bowl in terms of relevance. It's not. Folks, this is a chart, and I want to show you how the NFL handled this, okay? The NFL, the Super Bowl, started dropping in viewership as they really got into the TDS stuff, and you'll remember that. So about 2016, 2017 is when viewership starts dropping majorly on the Super Bowl. After 2021, they basically said, knock it off, and they've been gently going back. And you can see there was a tepid response. But the Super Bowl for 2025 generated 127, rounded up 128 million views. Let me say it again. 128 million views in 2025 of the Super Bowl. We're talking about the Oscars getting something like 3 million. Again, 128, Super Bowl, the Oscars, 3. Hollywood does not have the cachet they did at all. And by the way, the NFL saw what was happening, and even though it's not easy for them, they've begun to make the change, and that change has paid off in spades. Hollywood should do the same, but the NFL has to give interesting games for people to watch, for them to care about the Super Bowl. Hollywood has to give people interesting movies, and then those movies have to be at the award ceremony, or else no one is tuning in. All right.
Also point out that Hollywood doesn't get to decide who wins the game.
Yes, and I would say that's true with Hollywood as well. When it comes to the marketplace, they can give out all the little golden men they want to. The problem is the George Washingtons are what matter. George Washington decides what gets made next time, and all their cute little awards don't change that. Folks, you still get the vote that counts. And folks, let the credits roll for this one. Well, it is in the bank. We are done here. We're over and out. But before we go, there's one thing we must shout to you, and we do it in the kindest way possible. Folks, it would be such a pleasure if you could consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and that notification bell. Click it, stick it to the algorithms. You bet. Don't forget also, as you get ready to leave, drop a comment down below if you have not yet, for we would love to know what's on your mind. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. Join a community dialogue. Folks, as we get ready to leave, we say to you, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and no matter what the world might do or what your station might be, up or down, you keep having fun. Jump into the water.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.